Your May 17 letter to your colleagues speaks of the call for the Liberian Maritime Authority Commissioner to report to plenary to provide some information on what you really want to see and information you want from the commissioner. What has prompted your letter to the commissioner, calling for the commissioner to appear, especially on speaking on the Liberian Maritime Authority?
Well, thank you. It's good to be in your company, speaking from the capital through the people of Nassau. My interest or my concern is from the backdrop that from 2006 up to current, the government of Liberia have been able to carry out major investment revenue generation. More than that, the government about to transition, and more than 80 years ago, we haven't had an opportunity to see a transitional process. And so part of the transitional package in my mind should be holistic. On the holistic nature of that package, I have called on my colleagues in the Liberian Senate through the people of Liberia to do an inventory of the maritime program as it relates to revenue generation, contribution to national budget, and the number of ships that are registered that flying the Liberian flag, the number of Liberians that are employed on those ships, and the recent executive order issued by Her Excellency the President of Liberia as it relates to the reduction of nautical mile. These are information that will help us. You know, we are transitioning, and it is believed legacy to be more to be appreciated by the Liberian people. It also need to be statistical. The statistical aspect of that legacy will say, for example, over the regime or during our term, we have X number of ships registered, X number of Liberian employed. For example, I also touched on the current maritime training program in Marshall City. I mean, how far have we gone? As the government transition, those information are needed so that this Liberian Senate that will be the institutional memory of this government that will be ushering into the new government will have this information and perhaps will guide the next government in its quest to make sure that development and economic growth can be carried out in Liberia.
Should the government that is leaving power in the next couple of months be reminded of what you say they are so vital? Shouldn't this information be provided other than asking for it as a senator?
Well, there are two things here. We have the Freedom of Information Act that you say you can walk to, by the passage of that act, walk to any ministry, any agency of government to seek information. More than that, the Liberian Senate provide oversight responsibility over government functionaries, including the Liberian Maritime Program. As a matter of fact, we have the Senate Committee on Maritime Affairs. And so, we have to ensure on our oversight responsibility to receive the information, validate it as per what we have, and see how the transitional team is going to work. We appreciate to a large extent, you know, the number of contributions Maritime has made to the Liberian national budget. But those need to be quantified so that when the next administration comes, we can say, during this administration, we receive X number of data for the national budget, and it can be referenced. So we need to approach this from a nationalistic point of view, because when we're talking about transparency, we're talking about accountability. We should lead that process because we remain the elder, we remain the leader of the Liberian people that will speak for the voiceless. So this information is vital, and I think it will just help us to buttress President Sedi's legacy of accountability and transparency.
Have your colleagues concurred with you to invite the commissioner?
Well, parliamentarily, the letter was received on the floor of the Liberian Senate. It being passed to the committee on maritime affairs. That committee is supposed to be reporting within 2 weeks. Based upon the report of that committee, the letter will be validated in the committee room. The issues raised, if it warrant the Maritime Authority to appear before the committee, that recommendation will be made. If it warrant that per my decision or in a letter that he appear before the plenary, that will be made. So that determination have to come from the working of the Committee on Maritime, and that committee is chaired by the noble Senator Dallas Guerrero of Rivers County.
What happens if all that you said in your request to put forward is not met? The guy did not come. I mean, your colleagues did not concord with you. What will happen?
Well, that for me, that in legislative politics, the fact that my colleagues have interest in Liberia, they have interest in the coastal defense area, they have interest in the entire nation, tells me that they're going to act positively, either to allow the LMA leadership to come before the Liberian Senate or to appear before the committee. Whatever comes, I want to ask the rest of the Liberian people to join me in this advocacy, because in the interest of transparency, I mean, we need to know, according to my research, Liberia is the second registered country in the entire world. And so to have the second registry is a privilege, but the benefit thereunto need to be told, need to be explained to the Liberian people. And I think this is a process that will lead us to understand. We've been having problems with budget shortfall in the past. We've been having a lot of economic issue. I think this information could further, validate our revenue from the maritime program have been low, or they have been able to buttress government in some of our challenging time, and that would be a message that the new government could use in her economic strategy and approach.
There are many reports that have been coming that even the Liberians who are working on these foreign ships, flying Liberian flags, these Liberians are not treated like that. Have you heard that? Is it one of the reasons why you won the report from the LMA?
Well, according to my own research, I haven't seen any listing of Liberians that on board these ships, even though it is believed that over 300 ships may have been or are flying the Liberian flag. Though information will be validated by the appearance of the authority of the LMA, but I mean, it is unfortunate that if you listen to many Liberians, as we try to create job opportunity, that we have such a huge registry, second in the world, and Liberians are still struggling, to be employed. I mean, we're still struggling to have the Maritime Institute, functional that will meet capacity. I'm also saddened by the fact that an executive order has been issued by the President of the Republic of Liberia, Executive Order number 84, that speaks to the reduction of our nautical mile. I mean, I think this is sad. I see this as an attempt, to create hardship for our citizens. I see this as an attempt, to make sure that poverty continue to reign on our people. Because I come from a county, Grand Bassa County, that is part of the fishing industry, where local people rely on just to by hauling kino from the sea on shore. They have a piece of fish and they can have a meal on their table that day. And now the fact that reduction has been made, giving rise to international company or vessel to come in closer to our mile. For example, I did a research. Ghana had 12 nautical mile, and other countries that we can research on. Why are we reducing our nautical mile to 6? Why do we tend to benefit? I think it's an attempt by this Unity Party-led government to inflict more suffering on the ordinary people of Liberia.
Does this anger you? Don't you see it as government also finding ways economically to boost the economic strength of this country by reducing it and allowing other international fishing vessels to come in and maybe come closer to the shores of Liberia to fishing?
Well, when you do this, it has its own benefit and it has its own demerit in the process. Because, I mean, if you look at the coastal belt of Liberia, we already are incapacitated to some extent by the way we manage our coastal area in terms of the maritime program, or the Coast Guard of Liberia is still challenged with the kind of material, the kind of education and other things that it needs to manage this sea coast properly, to allow international vessels to come very close, that will quote unquote in the Liberian way, take away, the smaller fish and other things through dragging the big nets and other things, I think it reduces our chances of allowing ordinary people who are living and continue to survive on fishery. I think this call have been awakening after my letter to plenary. I mean, I heard the EU and other international body, following up on this. So I think it's a national issue. If you may, it's a global issue, because I heard on the radio that other international people are concerned about the reduction of nautical life. So I think I want to call on all well-meaning Liberians to ensure that even though an executive order has been issued, but I think we need to look at it, call on civil society and other people to see, so we can reason together. The reason why we have 3 but separate branches of government is for the purposes of coordination. I think in this challenging time, it's good for us to talk about some of the issues in a more coordinated manner to see how these reductions affect or bring benefit to our people.
So with this executive order, does it anger you?
Well, it's not about anger. I think it creates concern. I mean, the poor man down there on Popo Beach, I mean, the poor man there in Little Cola Beach, in on Sakapo Beach, will not be able to get the kind of revenue that he or she's supposed to get, because the bigger vessel will be coming, the competition will get high. And I think it's about time that we sit and look at how do we put in place a program that will fit into those local fishermen capacity, in as much as we're interested in bringing the bigger company. So as a leader, as a senator of Grand Bassa County, one of the fishing industry, I think I'm on obligation to ensure that those fishermen down Fountaintown and Buchanan had an opportunity to continue the fishing life, while we as a government find opportunities that fishing industry will come and be protected and help us in the industry.
I want to thank you so much, but before I leave, do you have any call that you want to make to even the chief executive that sent this executive order? Because it would mean that she has the power to also withdraw it based on your appeal.
Well, that's what I earlier said. I'm calling on, the civil society. I'm calling on well-meaning Liberians out there to look at this issue very critically. We are been enjoying, if not to as large extent, the level of peace that we've been having in this country. Peace comes with different elements. The fact that most of our protein food that we eat, if not 60-70%, come from the fishing industry. So it's something that we need to look at. So I want to call on the president to see reason to rescind her decision, so that the reduction of our nautical mile can be looked at. And I think if we did that, we'll be doing justice to our people. I know we need to have investors. We need to create jobs. But we should do that, with caution, because we're in a transitional year. We're moving towards elections, and I think these are times that we need to keep the gains we made and try to move on in a more peaceful way. So my appeal is to the president, to all well-meaning Liberians, to add their many voices to my voice to see how we can look at the issue, because at the end of the day, it is not only about the reduction of the nautical mile, but I think the maritime program has been a vibrant contributor to our budget. We need to have a picture of, over the past 11 to 12 years, how much we as a people of Liberia have received, what are the contributions these funding have made or impacted our economy, how do we have information on our national registry, how do we ensure that our ship that fly the Liberian flag not only flying the flag, but Liberian people are represented and are part of the crew of those ships.
I want to thank you again and wish you well in your appeal.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure, and join me in the fight as we fight to ensure that our resources and the process of accountability can be championed by all Liberians. Thank you.
Senator Jonathan Capet of Grand Bassa. Okay.